Welcome to the Church Announcements Podcast. I'm your host, Jill Hughes, and I do not mean those announcements that you hear in the pulpit after the sermon. We are exploring initiatives with social justice and action, very relevant and necessary conversations. This is the inaugural series, Blue Table Talk, and I have with me the major future attorney and candidate for State House District 97, Alabama State House of Representatives, Shalela Downey. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be at the Blue Table Talk.
Yes, welcome to the table. So Blue Table Talk, very similar to the Red Table Talk, where we put it all out there. We put it all out there, blue, because as Democrats, that is the theme color. And so we are discussing all things related to Democrats, what's happening, our city, the election, and the race. But for starters, tell the people how you know the hostess. How do you know me?
So I met the hostess in 2020. She was running for the Alabama House of... No, she was running for the County Commission Revenue.
Yes, Revenue Commission.
So it was the 2020 election season, and our area was focused on making sure we ran a full slate of Democratic candidates. And so she was on the campaign trail, working hard, got to see her in action. And it was exciting. I think you were the only black woman running for a countywide seat.
It was myself and Barbara Payne.
Okay.
She also ran for a county seat as the county treasurer
at
the time. But that was definitely the thought process, the ideology behind it was to run a full slate. And for those that may not know, running a full slate just means that there is a choice. You have a choice. There are no blank spaces. Because at the time, the seat that I was running for, Kim Hasty, she faced charges and was convicted of charges, but was running again and was running unopposed. She was going to win by default. And so the point for having me on the ballot was to step up so that on the Democratic side, we have options and that, people don't win just by default. And so I stepped up to be a candidate, to fill that slate and to push what at the time we were calling a blue wave. A blue wave. All right, well, that is how you know me, but we're not interviewing me, we're interviewing you. And so for the people who may not know you, who is Shalela Downey?
So I am a Mobile native, spent my early years in Pritchard, and then we moved to the Roger Williams Housing Projects. I spent time in the campground, lived on Macadona Street. They changed the name while I was living there from Herndon Avenue to Macadona, and I learned that history of our city. Went to Callaway Smith with the Murphy. I am a graduate of the United States Military Academy at West Point, where I commissioned as a second lieutenant in 2012, and commissioned into the Air Defense Artillery Branch. Did time on active duty. Always knew that I was not going to be a lifer. I am a very free-spirited person. So I did about 6 years on active duty, lived in Oklahoma, Texas, deployed to the Middle East, to Bahrain. Did a little stint in South Carolina, and then I got off active duty. So I thought I wanted to make a lot of money in corporate America, but I was not happy in corporate America. I also got laid off when the pandemic started. So it was divine for me not to be in a space where my talents weren't being used at its maximum capacity. So I did some time working for the Alabama Democratic Party, working in the nonprofit space, and now I am finishing up my last year of law school at Southern University in Baton Rouge. So I go over there. I'm doing a turn and burn tomorrow, going there, going to class, coming back home. We are a resident of Alabama. I'm just in Louisiana for school. But outside of that, highly involved in the community, second vice president of the Mobile NAACP, founder president of Stand Up Mobile. So we in the streets doing the work. And one of the things that I'm most proud of is being a plaintiff in a historic voting rights case called Allen v. Milligan, where we sued the Secretary of State and advocated for black people to have a second congressional seat at the table in the state of Alabama because our black population was big enough for us to have that proper representation. So shout out to our member of Congress, Shamari Figures.
Well, that sounds like a life work for 5 people. We have so much in common. I too, the district that I'm running for, I am a candidate for State House Representative District 99. I'm very Toulminville. My family, really a Toulminville Crichton hybrid. Both of my parents went to the same high school I attended, and my brothers and cousins and everybody. So the district that I live in, purchased a home in, live in, work in, is definitely where I'm from. It's where I'm from, like literally walk the same streets. Definitely where I'm from. We have that in common. I'm a lawyer at heart. Attorney Hughes is a person. You have not met her. We haven't had to litigate, but she is a real person. She is a real person. And I would have gone to law school. I had my daughter Bailey, and I named her Bailey. It was the Italian word for Bailey was bailiff, court authority, magistrate, and I was just like, I'm Attorney Hughes. She come out every now and then. She definitely would come out in my classroom.
Name the baby Bailey.
Yeah, Bailey. Bailey was for bailiff. I just it's down in there. It's down in there. We so far now. I don't know what they're doing about student loans. I don't know about going back. I did actually go to orientation at Jones, and I just was so excited. And then it just here I am. I was called to education, and I'm called here. You running for office, but yeah, I still work in policy and advocating. But Attorney Hughes is a person. Attorney Hughes is a real person. Yeah, Attorney Hughes is a real person. So we definitely have that in common. So you are now a candidate for the Alabama State House District 97. Tell us about that and how the campaign has been going. Any challenges you have been met with, high points, peak and peaks, valleys, and low points, or just anything exciting that has stood out about this campaign race.
Yeah, so the campaign has been going great, and I will say for me, it hasn't been a major transition going from community advocate to candidate, because a lot of the work that I did in the past as an advocate, where it came to engaging with the community, I'm doing as a candidate. It really is the same, but now I can be partisan. So I forget sometimes that I can talk about the Democratic Party, because back in the day, I just would say, the party that actually cares about the people.
Yeah.
But it's been great. Fundraising has been all right. I don't think our generation, like truly understands the importance of giving and supporting candidates and how expensive it is to run a campaign. The support has been, I think I've had more positive support than negative support. What I've dealt with is the conversations that have been around me, because nobody has said it to my face. But members of my team coming to me, letting me know that people have said that such and such has said that I should have waited my turn. And it's so crazy because you have to be 21 to run, and I'm 36, so I feel like I waited 15 years. I don't know how many people are in the line that I'm apparently waiting in, how many people are in that line. And it's just frustrating because we know not the hour nor the day that we'll leave this earth. And so I feel like run when you're ready. Run when it's best for you, not when it's best for other people. So it's just been interesting, that pushback narrative. And then people are afraid of failure. So people have been like, oh, you're running. Well, what if you lose? And I'm like, if I lose, I lose. I chose to join the army during the height of the Afghanistan-Iraq war, and I could have lost my life. But if that was the thing, and I can lose a race, y'all, I'm not scared. And one thing that I've learned in my little short time here on Earth is that you can learn from failure. You can learn a lot from failure. But it's just been interesting, the fact that other people want to bestow their fear of losing upon me as a candidate. I wish there was more people that poured into me as a candidate, but I'm thankful for the people who have checked in on me and just asked, how am I? Because running for office is a lot.
It is.
Yeah, one of the experiences I had today while door knocking was a man actually coming in tears. And he warned me before he started to cry. When I was letting him know that I was in the Army, he attended a funeral for somebody today in Pensacola who was a close friend of his who served in the Navy. And myself, my best friend, and one of my close friends, my best friend Brittany, and one of my close friends Kim, we all gave him a hug. And the fact that this man said, y'all must be Democrats, because my campaign manager doesn't say Democrat or Republican on it. The fact that us giving hugs resonated with him to think that, hey, we're Democrats, it kind of spoke volumes to me on where we are as a country
right now. Yes.
Right. It really spoke to me. So that was moving. I think one of the best things have been meeting the people. My best friend door knocked with us for the first time today, and I made a little video. I was like, so how was the experience for you? But she got to see like the positive side. I said, now it depends on where you at, because when we go in the hood, we're gonna have a lot of people trying to holler at us because we're nice looking black women. But it's been interesting. I think the most disheartening part is like the people that you thought that would support you who are not really supporting you. And it's not even like, oh, you need to be cheering the hardest. Support looks like many things.
Yes.
It can be, if you can't support out loud, you can donate. Or you can have conversations about me to other people to, help spread the word on how I am as a person and as a leader. So I think that's been the most disheartening part. People who you thought was gonna rock with you, they ain't rocking with you. But overall, it's been a great learning experience, and we have about 40 more days, so I'm sure I'm going to have plenty more stories at the end of this.
Yeah, you have so many stories. I'm a preacher's kid, and a lot of it to me, like, is you really know when you're a preacher's kid, and I was just not just a preacher's kid. My dad was a bishop, so he had several churches, like, in different areas and states, and so then it's just like, not even just Mobile know you. It's just, it's a whole thing. You really learn how to interact with people. I do think that Bishop Jakes, one of my mentors, really says that when you reach that point of destiny, you realize that what you were called to do, you have been doing it on some level all along. And so I think that's paramount when you said, it's what I have been doing the whole time, which is why I stepped up to run. I was like, advocating, educating, work, that's what I do.
Right.
And it's definitely not for the money. I think people will be alarmed to see that, I'm not sure how other salaries are, but state house representative is like, I'm a teacher. That's like, that is not the motivation to want to run. But if you're already doing something, you feel called. But anybody who meets the qualifications is able to run. We have a president that's a felon running,
right.
On the ballot. But yeah, that wait your turn thing. My experience has been, just vastly different from that. I have not heard any opponents whispering or any conversations around that at all. The most surprising thing that I have gotten is people didn't think, because I had braids, that I was the person on my flyers. They're like, who's this girl? And
I'm disappointed in black people.
It is me. Like, do you not think a black girl could change her hair up? And I'm not fickle at all or vain. I was just like, this is me, She's trying to work out. So she's trying to work out and preserve her hair. But I had to, I remember taking my sunglasses off, taking the baseball cap off several times to say, this is me.
Same eyes, nose, lip, bone brows, it's me.
Yeah, but I think donation is, like you said, it's just not built into our culture that, it's not attached to that. Like, when you believe in something or support, and a lot of people do not know or do not understand what that means. I've had people be like, oh, give me a yard sign, because that's support to them. They want you to bring it, not knowing yard signs cost money and everything rolls together.
I want a yard sign and a t-shirt. I'd be like, have you
That's what they say. I want a yard sign and a t-shirt.
$20.
Yes, when you add it up. But yeah, I think that, and everybody that has donated to my campaign, like handwritten messages letting you know how much I appreciate it. I was at a funeral and the lady slipped me like $100. It was like, baby, auntie, and I was brought really to tears that somebody believes in me that much. That was enough to make me keep going. And also watching you having to reposition yourself, being a law student that commutes and goes back and forth. You had organizations that restricted you from being a candidate, income that you had to lose. And so I was so inspired. I was like, if you can do this truly for the cause, for the work of it, and making those type of sacrifices, like livelihood type sacrifices, I was like, I guess I can get in the game. I got 3 jobs.
Hey, don't leave me hanging. Come on. We need more millennials out here running.
Yeah. Yes, I could just get the game. So, talk just a little bit about your campaign, like meaning, messaging. What's the central message of your campaign?
Yes, so just starting with the logo, I decided to go with like the red, white, and blue, be patriotic. I'm a creature of habit, of nature, so I didn't really want to change much. But I also thought that having red and blue being my logo would show how I plan to work across the aisle. So in Alabama, the Republicans run things. We're gonna be up front, and you have to work with them. And so just wanted to show how, I'm ready to work with them, willing to work with them. I have that background of working in very conservative spaces because the military is very conservative. And then I have to say the Alabama on my logo because it is a state house position that I'm running for, and I wanted to be able to tell the story for the importance of the position by actually putting the state on the logo. Additionally, running the campaign off of the importance of there being intergenerational leadership. So in a lot of the organizations I'm a member of, I'm one of the youngest people that are around. And so I get to work with my elders in many different ways through many different orgs. And so I looked at the state house and I looked at the demographics and realized that the youngest woman is 52. There are no millennial women in the state house. And if millennial women are behind, Gen Z women are behind. We have a Gen Z person serving in Congress, Maxwell Frost from Florida. And so focused on that importance, my motto is built to serve, ready to lead. Being the oldest of 10, I've been leading from the womb, going to the top leadership institution in the we like to say the world, West Point. Having served in the military, having served in my community, built to serve, and now we're ready to lead in the state house. And so that's how my slogan came about.
Yeah, I didn't know that, and I saw some samples of your logo as you were, working with it and sampling it, and getting it going back and forth to the graphic person. But I did not know that you were that intentional. When you said that, I was in ROTC. I'm not a major in the United States Army. Shout out to Sergeant Major Lawrence Herring. I was in ROTC. I was a major. I was on staff brigade. I was on staff. I was the S5. And so when you said that, immediately the knowledge of the patriotism that we had, just being that program with the colors, like you had to know those colors and you knew what red, white, and blue represented, like what it meant on the flag. And so I can understand that was just instilled in you. When I put my logo together, I definitely wanted everybody to understand that it was the state house is a state seat. And I borrowed from, at the time that I ran in 2020, we were doing like a blue wave. And so I wanted to show the blue. And I looked at samples from like Keisha Lance Bottom, people that had similar features, complexions with me, like what would look and make a statement. And I just fell in love with Power Blue. I just love that. My headshots that I took for the initial campaign were blue, and it just stuck. So I went with blue, and they're similar to yours. Mine is qualified to lead, humble to serve, because it's certainly qualified. What makes a leader, is when you can see the work that they have done, and not just like check my resume. No, what am I doing right now that you can see right now that I'm doing? So that resonates very well. So speaking of running campaign, I got a little quick pop-up game. Mm-hmm. Okay, surprise, put you in rapid fire. Switch it up a little bit. I am a millennial baby. Okay, so escape will always be escape. So speaking of running the campaign, we're playing a little game, rapid fire. Who can I run to? I want to know who you run to. Okay, who do you run to for food?
For
good
food, it would be my godmother, who was also my foster mother at one point, Daphne Watson Haywood. She is a
I know her. She's a pastor. And she cooked real bad.
Yeah.
She cooked. I did not know that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She had a daughter that was my age that passed.
She had a daughter that
from
passed.
diabetes. Her name was Mika.
I didn't know Mika passed. Yes, I definitely. She be like big cooking. She don't be little cooking. She
I be like, if I really wanted to eat,
yeah.
I would just, she know what I'm coming out for.
Yeah, she be cooking.
I was little. She knows I love sweet potato pie and cornbread.
Yeah, she be cooking. My best friend says I do this thing when I'm eating good food. Like I say, like so when it's good, I'm like, like the words leave. Who do you run to? Like, who else got the best snacks? You want a good snack? Which friend, sister? You got 9 siblings. Who got the best snacks?
Who got the best? I guess it would be my sister because she got the kids.
She got the kids. She got the kids.
She got the food stamps. I ain't look.
Sidebar.
Unlimited.
Sidebar. That is the family joke, and I always tell people, baby, plus size people do not always eat bad. Like my family be like, if you go in the Jill house, bring your own snacks, because you're gonna get some granola. You're gonna get some wheat thins and water at my house. Like that's what you're gonna get at my house. Like, so you came to my house.
Now you're not feeding the people.
I don't. Hey, I love everybody. I do not have snacks at home. They be like, is Bailey eating? She is healthy. I don't have snacks at home.
I mean, we eat too much processed stuff anyway.
Yeah, I'm just not a snacker.
I'm guilty of it.
It's not my thing. I'm not a snacker. Here and there, I might grab something, and then I have like a little trick. If I want something sweet, like I go to Dairy Queen and I get some, and I'll take it to my best friend's house and put it in her freezer. Like I'm not a snacker.
Like,
so my house is not the who can you run to house. Who do you run to for inspiration?
I gotta run to. So music is a big part of like what inspires me, and it has to be like the greatest female artist of all time, Beyonce, Giselle,
Adele, right? It's Adele. She talking about Adele.
Check them Grammys.
She talking about Adele.
Check them Grammys.
So the inspiration with that, is it just the female, the power of feminism?
Yeah, it definitely that definitely plays a role in it because she had her feminism time period. I love the song "Girls Who Run the World." I love when she had her formation era, and then now I love that she's been experimenting with so many genres. She's such a versatile artist. You just can't be like Beyonce, the R&B singer. It's Beyonce, the electronic singer with Renaissance, and Beyonce, the country singer.
So it's the musicianship.
It's yeah, and her philanthropy work too as well. Like I love her Be Good Foundation. I love how business savvy she is with Ivy Park and with her hair care line Sacred, and how family oriented she is, and how she pro black. That Black is King album.
Yeah, Black is King, and not just that, the money that she put, like she put her money where her mouth.
Yeah, during the pandemic, she partnered with the NAACP to provide small black-owned businesses with grants.
Yeah. Well, I'm not. Shalela, this is her interview. She advocated for Beyonce. If you give me a T-shirt, it's gonna have Adele, because that is my girl.
Well, you know, but
my family is British. She's British in my bloodline.
But guess who Adele stands?
Okay, they rock together. She respect her, but Adele.
Adele won one Grammy, and she was like, Beyonce should have won this.
Yeah, but Adele.
I could rock with
this. This
Adele.
is how my interview. Adele
got good taste.
Yes, Adele's my girl. For me, maybe it's the preacher in me, because I am a preacher, a minister. The word is like my inspiration. Now, mood is music, but true inspiration, when I need to be spoken to or enlightened, clarity, is always God's word. I have preachers that I listen to whose messages have literally spoke to me in my life. Literally, like, come out the TV, tap me on my shoulder, I'm talking to you. And I'm really heavy into podcasts. I love listening to podcasts. There's some preachers that I love, don't like their podcasts, and vice versa. Some preachers that preach, that's not my favorite preacher, but I listen to their podcast. But I think my inspiration definitely comes from what I hear. What I hear. So that's interesting. Who do you go to for accurate, up-to-date information? That sounds like the news, time traffic week. Accurate, up-to-date information.
Time traffic. So for accurate information, I think it depends on like what the subject is. So I know if it's some dealing with politics, some dealing with an election, my crew would hit me up. But I think it just varies on what the topic is. It varies. So I don't have like that one person I go to.
You definitely the one that got numbers on the top of their head from election, who and what seed, what age they are, what county they're in. Yeah, you definitely. Yeah. But so you're the person I would probably call for voting information specifically.
Yeah, the voting girl.
Yeah, you are the voting girl, and that is okay. I'm okay with that. Definitely for information based. Okay, who are you going to maybe for a good slay? Who do you run to?
The slay,
for that splat.
The makeup,
everything,
the hair. See, that's more than one part. So I love my campaign photos. The hair, rocking it now, look a little rough, but it was done by one of my classmates from high school, Leanna Watson. And then my makeup for the campaign photos was done by one of my middle school best friends, Shantavia Johnson. So, black women is who I run to.
You run to, of course.
Yeah. They get you right every time.
But you're not a nail girl, because when I talk to you
I'm not.
Oh my goodness.
I get pedicures.
Okay.
But my hands looking real bad. Look, I'm just real rough with my hands. Like I'm a mess something up.
When I tell you,
I gotta step my game.
When I tell you I love my hands, I get compliments on them often. People think I have on fake nails. I don't. I have never had a full set. I just feel like my hands are so pretty. My nails. I get compliments on them from the Asian ladies that do them. There's a joke around my friend circle when people go to church. They say when I lift my hands to Jesus, I'm checking my nails. That's what they say. They're like, oh, that's what they say. That's what they say.
No, I think
and I get it from my dad, not my mom. My dad was was a carpenter, but baby, when I tell you he used to get them nails clean and file down, buffed up, he'd be like, oh my God, my nails. Very masculine though.
I think I have a problem with sitting still, so I can do it for my feet. Then I gotta do it for my hands too. Now I know they can do them at the same time.
Yeah, that is definitely.
I'm always pushing for time, so I just be like.
So do you have who do you run to? But do you have one consistent person for everything? Like, this is my hair girl.
Oh no. Oh, what? My sister? Because if we did not have in the tracks, I would have my braids in, which I can't put in now because I took my campaign photos.
You want people to recognize you.
And
people are fickle. They want you to look like that picture.
I've seen people look at the picture.
They want you to look like that picture.
I've seen people look at that picture and look at me. And
they want you to look like that picture.
And if I come at your door with the braids on, they're gonna act like they don't see these facial features.
Yeah,
so
they want you to look like that picture.
But it was my sister.
When you campaign yourself, they want you to look like that picture.
It's my sister though. She's been braiding my hair since we were youngins out here.
All right. Who would you run to profession?
That would probably be Jill Hughes. I would want to think that I'm fashion forward, but I don't know. So Jill is definitely like, what we wearing? And I'm like,
that is so me. They're like the first. just like to my core, that is who I am. I'm not vain or anything like that, but most people probably will recognize me by my shoes or what I wear, particularly in the church where there's so many people that call me about what to wear. And if I got time, I'm like, okay, look over here. I send people links all the time. People like, yeah.
I just saw a Kurt Geiger purse today.
Like for the first time?
For the first time.
Oh my.
And it was because of Beyonce mama.
Oh why?
She like advertised them, opened up a box and showed 5 different. I said
Tina with Kurt Geiger.
Yep, tagging the photo.
Yeah, but
So that's how off the. And I used to want to be a supermodel back in the day.
You a wear model.
And don't be paying attention to no kind of fashion stuff.
Yeah, no, it's a thing. Like they wrinkled the postmaster, the person, I don't want to say postman, the postal carrier wrinkled up my Vogue magazine, and it was one of those seasonal issues where it's thick, and it was like, and I was, my mom said, please don't go up to the postal, don't let it. I said, rip my magazine. Like I'm looking in Vogue, I know what's on the runway. I usually know what's trendy. I can see what was inspired by what, and I have a very keen eye for color. Like my favorite color is magenta. It's not fuchsia. It's not hot pink. It's magenta. I know cerulean. I know cobalt blue. And when I say that, people are like, "Are you cool? Like, are you weird?" I just know. I'm like, you don't have on cream. You have on ecru. Like it just, you know. I don't know. It's just in there. But I share it with people, and I do ask if we're going somewhere. What are we wearing? I always try to be appropriate for where we are going.
Yeah.
If people ask me to speak, I'm like, okay, are we wearing t-shirts? Is there a color? Like, what is the thing? That's the thing I ask. Yeah. So. You can run to me.
Woo, give me straight, cause I be trying.
You can run to me. So, who do you think, based on just you living in Mobile, we're both from here, very 251, and I take pride in that. During Mardi Gras season, I travel a lot during Mardi Gras season, and so I on purpose will have like Mobile stuff on or 251 in the Mardi Gras colors, and so I'm like really rep that. I got my master's at Alabama State, and so I was just driving back and forth there, and so I think I'm very Mobile. Who would you classify as like Mobile greats? Like this the Hall of Fame wall. Who are we putting on this wall?
Well, first and foremost, the woman who held the seat for about 3 decades that I'm running for, Dr. Yvonne Kennedy.
Dr. Yvonne.
For sure. State rep for 3 decades, president of Michigan State, 1990 president of Delta Sigma Theta, aka overall a badass woman. I would say Alexis Herman. She was the Secretary of Labor underneath the Bill Clinton administration.
Yes.
Her father was the first king of Mamga. She's a former queen. She's just phenomenal. Along with that, I would say John LaFleur.
Just so you know, John Lazine LaFleur, baby. Okay.
I love that he founded the Mobile chapter of the NAACP, so taking it back to one of my favorite orgs. And then Vernon Crawford, who was an attorney who opened up the first black law firm in the city. And he was the attorney on the case City of Mobile versus Bolden, where they advocated for Mobile's all countywide elections to become district-based when it came to city council, so we can elect black people to our Mobile city council. So those are the ones off the top of my head that I came up with. What about you?
Yeah, I thought definitely as a fellow educator, Dr. LaFleur, with that, who first held the seat for State House District 99 that I'm running for. My neighborhood is actually, there's a area that he had his house, where his house actually was. He has an area that he invested and carved out, Rue de LaFleur, that area. All of that is just very historic and very full circle. Definitely Dr. LaFleur. I have to throw some educators in there. I have to go to Mr. Richardson, that was old principals. Mr. Marshall, that just everybody just knows from being LaFleur. I can't quote him and say, but he said, the must school, Mr. Marshall. Educators like that. I met her, Miss Ermatine Watts. I worked at a pharmacy when I was in high school because I was going to be a pharmacist. And they really were like mentoring me to be one. But I couldn't count pills. God called me to do this. I couldn't count pills. And so at the time, there was a shortage of pharmacists, which is why my brother was like coercing me to go be a pharmacist. And so if there was not a pharmacist on duty, the pharmacy had to close down. So she came back part-time. And she was working, and I met her, and she's great. And also, there's a park in my neighborhood, Fred Richardson Tricentennial Park. She has, there is a area on the walkway that is dedicated to Miss Watts.
Okay.
Yeah. So she Mobile history. First black woman on Mobile City Council.
Right.
Yeah. And we got to put Mr. Michael Figures up there.
Right, Michael Figures.
Very Tolmanville. Very
Southern
Tolmanville.
Public Law Centers, taking down and bankrupting the Klan. Helping out black farmers in the
black man from Tolmanville, bankrupting the Klan.
Mm-hmm. Taking all their money.
Yeah, all the legacy. And also the Zogby Act that really established the way that the city council is set up, that, you know, still kind of tussling with that now, but I do think that Senator Michael Figures was so ahead of his time. He definitely had, as you mentioned, that Obama aura that just pulled and rallied people together, like that made you want to prepare for it. And it's just so heartwarming, you know, and very, you know, makes me teary-eyed to think about Shamar, who's my classmate, somebody that, you know, that close in age, that close in experience, in the neighborhood, and to know that a legacy was lost like that, but to still see the effects of it up until now. Like Mr. Figures is definitely a Mobile great. And I mean, there are others. The wall is high and tall.
Aaron, all of the baseball legends.
Yeah, we have all that culture, all of that just came out of Mobile. But Dr. Kenny, first up, Dr. Kenny, Dr. Eva.
Look, I mean, we gotta get a statue of her because we got these statues of these men around the city.
Yeah, we do
need a statue of Dr. Kenny. So, you know, when y'all elect me to the House, I'm gonna figure that out.
Yeah, get these women so forth. And it is some very interesting information. If you ever do the trail, the Dora Finley, Franklin Finley trail, there are a lot of historic spots in the city that people they're just unaware of, that they just don't know about. But yeah, that's very interesting. I am a Spring Hill College alum, and so you have the first black lady that graduated from Spring Hill College. She have to go up there. Her son still comes and interacts with the Alumni Association. It's a lot of history in Mobile. A lot of black greats. Based on your experience, what limitations do you think women, you particularly, or women in general, have faced that you think, you know, are still very relevant? It's some very obvious.
Limitations when it comes to serving, or just in general?
Just in general.
Right now I'm seeing the discussion of women losing their right to vote. And I've seen white men talk about that because women who are educated are trending along the liberal route. And so people trying to take us back to the kitchen, back to being homemakers, not being head of households. But, you know, things are different now. A lot of women are not married anymore, you know. We are the head of the household. We are making more money. We are seeking degrees at a higher rate than our male counterparts are. So just fighting against the misogyny that exists, and fighting against the mindset that women can't be leaders. You know, we saw that
automatically biology disqualifies you from being able to lead.
Right, and I'm like, well, I can lead in the household, but I can't lead outside the household.
But your mother taught you how to tie your shoes. Your first leader, literally, in most cases.
So yeah, that's some of the obstacles. Just the misogynistic ways of society that are put upon women.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's certain limitations. I've been in ministry and been in the faith-based space, see it automatically. We were at Shamar Figures, councilman had a town hall, and we were at church. And as I mentioned, Shamar is my classmate. He asked, and I am in the interdenominational ministerial lines. Most people know me. You know, if you know me from that way, you know I'm a minister. I'm not one of those really out front, you know, showy, but, you know, it is what it is. And so they asked for all the preachers and pastors or something. And I was like, okay, let's get in this picture. Literally, they was like, just the men. Like, and I was like, very like, oh, so no girls?
Right. Well, a woman can't be
as no girls. Yeah, I thought that was insane. And we were 2026, and we just had a meeting about inclusivity and working together as a culture. And
that's still an uphill battle.
That's still an uphill battle. And I think what's the most alarming and shocking to me is that when you saw the race for Kamala and you see the numbers come in and you see the amount of black men that didn't vote for her.
Right.
Like, what are y'all afraid of? And also the statistics related to the highest educated demographic is black women. Mm-hmm. We are the most educated. But when the unemployment started coming in, we were the group that was affected the most. The group that was affected the most, and they do have that clip from Scandal where Olivia Pope's dad is like telling her,
we gotta work
twice as hard to have half of what they got. Yeah. And that's real. That's
Yeah,
real. So when I do see a woman accomplish something like Stacey Abrams and the stuff that she has did, and Keisha Lance Bottoms, and even Jasmine Crockett, although the last election didn't go in her favor, the work is still being done despite the adversity. And I had a hashtag movement that I started for that reason. Hashtag I'm a girl, which really represents, despite the fact all the limitations, I'm still moving forward, because that's the first thing you see. I cannot be female.
Right.
Biologically, I cannot be a girl. But we are overcoming, and hopefully District 97 will have a girl, and District 99 will be seated with a girl. Great leaders. What are you most passionate about?
I'm most passionate about progressing my people forward. I do not believe that anybody should struggle. I feel like everybody should have access to healthcare, to food, to housing, and so I'm just most passionate about just helping others.
Yeah.
And
that it shouldn't be based on what situation you're born into. Should your access to basic human rights.
Right.
Yeah, I think to couple that, I would have to add, I am passionate about exonerating ignorance. It just makes me, it could be the educator in me. It just literally, you have the wrong information.
Yes.
You loud and wrong.
Look.
Right? You loud and wrong.
I see it weekly when I'm engaging with these voters.
Yes, you loud and wrong. And that's a part of the process, is that, educating people.
Yep.
Not just engaging them.
Yeah, for me, the goal isn't just to ask for their vote, but to provide them with knowledge to make them armed when they go to the polls.
Yeah, to have the information that they need to equip them to serve. And so, another thing is that my father died to me prematurely in the age, but what he always instilled in me was success without a successor is failure. And so as a mother, my daughter is not even driving age, and I'm thinking about what is she going to need to be not just where I am, but further than what I am, which is why I don't understand a term that I've seen you use, you post on your social media, intergenerational leadership, where it's all the generations at the table. And I don't know if people really understand that word means that all generations are seated in leadership positions. Everybody is at the table. Everybody is benefiting. Everybody is learning from each other. Because if you have all the information, you have all the passwords, you have all the PIN numbers, and you pass or you are away, we all locked out.
Right.
And that's the key.
And who did you share that information
with? Who did you share it with? Furthermore, who are you training up to take your place? And that is like something that I strive in ministry. I'm like, okay, I won't be church secretary forever. Let me show somebody else how to do this, because you do that. And I think that is definitely what's lacking, particularly in our party, with people doing that. I mean, I grew up in church, have preachers, they rolling in oxygen tanks. They mean they gonna die on that seat. They just, their mindset is not such that they pass it on or engage with you to prepare you to take it. So shout out to the leaders who are forward thinking, who engage us, and have given us opportunities to display our leadership and to serve, and who aren't threatened to such. What does the future of Mobile look like for you?
I think the future of Mobile is bright. Watching the industry that's rolling in, from the plane making business with Airbus to the ship making industry with Austal. I think it's very promising. I see the conversations and the plans that are being discussed about our waterfront and making that more engaging as residents. And so I'm hopeful for us to grow in that way. But I'm also nervous about the gentrification that I'm watching take place in the historically Black communities, where it's evident that eventually something's going to be built where we're going to be priced out of it.
Yeah.
A lot of our history, our Black history, is on the Black side of town. Davis Avenue, which is now called MLK Avenue, and knowing about the people that have bought land, that are trying to buy land. If we're not able to preserve and hold on to our historical areas of the city, we are bound to lose that history. And so that is what I'm nervous about. I see things that are in place that County Commissioner Merceria Ludgood is putting in place, and so I just need the citizens to get more involved in making sure that we protect what she is implementing.
Yeah, I definitely see a lot of innovation. I think one of the first major things that let me know, I was a part of an initiative with Leadership Mobile, Connect Mobile, where they had emerging young leaders come together right before they built the innovation portal, and discussing how they were coming together to have all these initiatives to be hubs for businesses and to be a resource. And they were doing grants for people and just supporting people that were trying to move. I love the innovation that's coming, the tech, all of the industry and service, because Mobile helped out with World War II. Like, people don't even know that. Like, Brooklyn Field, literally they turned that into an Air Force base.
Right.
That was what that was. Over there, where they have in Birdsville, that's where people lived at. All of these projects house these people, and then like Pecan Street and Maple and all that, just the area, the history behind it, it's so rich. And I see us being progressive. I hope that we do not lose our culture rooted in where we are from. But I too am nervous about gentrification efforts. I get phone calls all the time. Don't call me. We do not sell property in my family. I'm not selling. We ain't selling grandma's house.
Right.
Yeah. So the gentrification.
Keep that land.
I hope that people are aware, because it's happening. Like, it's not even like in our parents. It's like in our age. I have seen since the time I went to college up until now, neighborhoods that have shifted and the demographic that has changed and shifted. And so I do hope that we do that. And I do hope that we can continue efforts to become united. Like, we all live in Mobile.
Right.
And there are some issues that it don't matter where you live, it affects all of us. And so I hope that we can come together for that. Thank you so much for visiting the Church Announcements Podcast. Maybe next time you'll be Reverend Dowdy. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, no, God's still working on me.
That is not something you can register to run for. It is a calling from God.
I ain't been anointed yet.
Yeah, it's a calling for God. But I do think you definitely are appointed for this, definitely qualified, definitely very much so in line with the person that you have always been. Definitely a destiny movement, and definitely one of those moments of providence where you're right where you are supposed to be. This has been Church Announcements with Jill Hughes, and I have an announcement for you. I am Jill Hughes, candidate for Alabama State House District 99, and this is
Shalela Downey, candidate for the Alabama House of Representatives, House District 97.
And you need to vote. May 19th is the primary election. Primary, that means you come out and decide who goes on the ballot for November. You need to show up, make sure you check your status. Voting rosters have been purged. Make sure that you're active. Show up. You get to the polls, there's a problem or issue, ask for a provisional ballot anyway. Make sure your voice is heard and you are counted. This is your Church Announcements. Govern yourselves accordingly.